Hi, my name is Sean O'Donnell.
And I'm Brian Stokes, and we're the founders of Redwood Grants.
We're excited to be here today to go over how we use the Google Grant to help your nonprofit be able to bring in more funds so that you guys have the resources you need to help the amount of people you want to be able to reach.
Yeah, so we're just going to go to the computer and we're going to break down how we're able to help. Some of you may be wondering, what is the Google Ad Grant? And some of you may have looked it up before or heard about it and just didn't have enough time, or you got overwhelmed, or there's probably some of you who just don't know what it is. So either way, we're just going to break it down. Basically, it's a grant that Google gives that gives qualified nonprofits access to $10,000 worth of free advertising every single month. And that can be used for a number of different things.
You can use it for things like recruiting volunteers, because the grant allows you to actively reach out to people who are already looking to volunteer to nonprofits just like yours. You can use it to get exposure, because the grant's able to reach thousands of people every single month.
And the last thing is the thing that we actually focus on the most, and it's raising donations. Because through thousands of people seeing your mission and your message every single month, many of them will want to get behind your cause, which makes raising donations very easy. And so this is kind of what we focus on. We've done it successful for other nonprofits in the past, and this is kind of what it would look like if you guys decided to work with us.
So the first step of working with us is we'd set up a Zoom meeting to get you actually applied for the Google Grant, because it'll only take about 15 minutes, and all Google needs you to do is fill out some basic information like your guys' name, your contact info, your EIN number, and other simple information like that, just so that they can verify that you guys are qualified.
Yeah, and that whole process takes around 2 to 3 weeks from you being a complete stranger to Google to them actually giving you an ad grant, which allows $10,000 every month in free advertising. However, we wouldn't want to waste any of that time that we could spend helping your guys' nonprofit. So what we actually do is we go into your website and we completely redo your donation page to increase the odds of people becoming a donor. For a lot of you, maybe you have a donation page that looks something like this. It's kind of just a basic form. It allows you to donate. However, it doesn't really have any information that would get people who don't currently know about your nonprofit to want to donate and want to get behind your cause.
So let's take a look at another nonprofit that we just took on. Their page looked just like this. It was a simple PayPal application that allowed people to just donate to their cause. It didn't really go into detail about anything they do or the amazing work and the amount of people they've been able to help. So after working with us, we were able to create a page that looked exactly like this. In this page, you see it gives them the ability to see what their nonprofit's about. It shows them how they've been able to help in the past, testimonials of people who have been supported by their cause, and it gives them a very specific reason to donate. For example, in this case, donating $300 is able to support a woman for a fourth of a year.
So once we've taken care of that, hopefully you've gotten approved for the ad grant, because it is, again, one of the simplest grants to get approved for, and it doesn't take that long. So after you have gotten approved, we would start running ads for you. And this is the kind of the most important part, because it drives people to the page and actually starts to raise donations.
So for those of you guys that don't know, this is what an ad looks like. You know, when you go into Google and you do any sort of search, usually the top couple options are going to say ad next to them. And this is where it just has a little headline. It's got a bit of information about your nonprofit. And when they click on it, it just takes them to the page that we would create.
And what we mean by running ads isn't just the creation of the ads that you actually see. A big part of what goes into that is setting up proper targeting to make sure that it gets in front of people who are searching about relevant topics and things that pertain to your nonprofit. And honestly, I could go on for hours talking about the intricacies of actually running ads, but I would hate to bore you about all of that. However, one thing that we make sure that we do through our ads is set up Google conversion tracking, so there's no chance that we would ever mix up the donations that we bring in with the donations that you're already getting. And here's just to recap a little bit of everything that we do to help your nonprofit.
The first thing we do is we walk you through the application process to get you approved for the Google Grant, which will give you access to $10,000 a month in free advertising, which is $120,000 every single year.
The next thing that we'll do is we'll build an entirely new donation page to run the ads towards, which will also be an asset for your nonprofit that will bring in more donations for as long as your nonprofit is still around.
And once you're approved for the grant, we'll completely run the Google ads to drive more donations every single month while maintaining the account so that it will continue to perform.
And even with everything that we do, we still set up our cost structure in a way that makes it impossible for your nonprofit to ever walk away with less money than you started with. Our services only cost $500 a month. However, if we don't make your nonprofit over that $500 during the first month, then we'll completely refund you and you'll still get to keep all the donations that we did raise. So let's take a situation where we did absolutely terrible and only raised $300 in the first month. Then we would completely refund your $500 amount and you would still make the $300 we were able to raise. And if all goes well, let's say that we bring in $1,600, you would make $1,100 without having to do any work except for setting up a 15-minute phone call to actually get you applied. And honestly, the only reason that we do charge the $500 a month is so we're able to continue to give our full focus to helping more nonprofits. And because of the fact that we do charge a fee, we wanted to make our services an absolute no-brainer and set it up to where the only possible downside is that your nonprofit getting slightly less donations than you anticipated.
So that's a basic overview of everything that we do. Hopefully this gives you more clarity as to who we are and how we help nonprofits just like your guys'.
And if you guys think that your nonprofit would benefit from this, we'd love to work with you if you're a good fit. And if so, we'd love to help raise donations and get your message out to thousands of more people each month.